Once upon a time, in a small village by the river, there lived an old potter named Elias. He had spent his whole life shaping clay into beautiful pots, bowls, and jars. His hands were rough from years of work, but his eyes still sparkled with the joy of creation. People from all around came to buy his pottery, not just because it was well made, but because Elias had a way of making each piece feel special. One day, a young traveler named Liora arrived in the village. She had heard stories of Elias and his skill, and she wanted to learn from him. When she entered his workshop, she saw shelves filled with pots of all sizes, some simple, some intricately designed. Elias welcomed her with a warm smile and agreed to teach her. For months, Liora worked beside him, learning how to knead the clay, shape it on the wheel, and fire it in the kiln. She loved the process, but she also noticed something strange. Every time she made a pot she was proud of, Elias would take it from her and, without hesitation, smash it against the ground. At first she thought it was a mistake, but then it happened again and again. Finally she could not stay silent. "Why do you keep breaking my work?" she asked, her voice trembling. "I put so much effort into these pots. They could have been useful. They could have been sold. Why destroy them?" Elias wiped his hands on his apron and looked at her gently. "Tell me, Liora," he said, "why do you make these pots?" "To create something beautiful," she answered. "To make something that lasts." Elias nodded. "And do you think beauty lasts forever?" Liora hesitated. "No," she admitted. "Nothing does. That is the first lesson," Elias said. "The clay is not yours. The shape is not yours. Even the finished pot is not yours. Everything returns to the earth in time. If you cling too tightly to what you make, you will suffer when it is gone." Liora frowned. "But if nothing lasts, why make anything at all?" Elias picked up a lump of clay and began shaping it on the wheel. "Because the making matters," he said. "The joy is in the act of creation, not in holding on to the creation itself. A pot may break, but the skill you gain remains. The moment of shaping it remains." Liora thought about his words as she watched the spinning clay. She realized that all her life she had been afraid of losing things, people, possessions, moments. But Elias was not afraid. He understood that impermanence was part of life. Over time, she began to see the truth in his teaching. She noticed how the river outside the village never stayed the same, yet it was always there. The trees shed their leaves but grew new ones. The seasons changed, and so did people. Nothing stayed, yet life continued. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Liora took one of her favorite pots, a delicate vase she had spent weeks perfecting, and placed it on the ground. She took a deep breath, then let it fall. It shattered into pieces. Elias, who had been watching, smiled. "Now you understand," he said. Liora nodded. She felt a strange lightness in her chest. It was not that she no longer cared about her creations. It was that she no longer feared their end. She could love them while they lasted and let them go when the time came. Years later, when Elias passed away, the villagers mourned. They spoke of his kindness, his wisdom, and his pottery. Liora, now a skilled potter herself, did not despair. She knew that Elias, like all things, was never meant to stay forever. But what he had taught her remained. She continued making pots, selling them, and sometimes, when she felt the need, breaking them. And each time she remembered, life is not about keeping. It is about creating, experiencing, and releasing. Because nothing is permanent, and that is why every moment matters. The end.